There's been a lot of drama, bro.
Yeah.
With the show.
Well, I honestly just really wanted to ask you, like besides the fact of the conversation, I wanted to ask you, to the best of your ability, what can you speak about George? Like, why is he off the show?
So here's the thing. Obviously, like, everybody has been kind of tight-lipped about it, right?
Yeah.
About the situation, and there's, various factors as to why that's the case. The situation has been particularly tough for me because I really am a third party in the situation. I am a founder, yes, but at the end of the day, really a co-host on the show. I definitely have, contribution and decision-making power, but at the end of the day, it's not my name on the wall. It's not my show. Okay. So from a decision-making standpoint or ability to speak on complex topics like this, I prefer not to. The one thing I will say is this.
Before you say this, if it was your choice, would you have kept George on the show based on what you just said?
There's no way for me to answer that without it
Continue.
causing a massive problem.
Sorry.
No.
I have to ask these questions.
Listen. I have no problem with the questions.
Yeah.
I just ask everyone to understand that my ability to answer or not answer is complex. That's
I understand.
all. The one thing that I will say is this. I always, and I could say this, there's a lot of things where I feel broken on in my life because I've done some things right, some things wrong. I regret certain things. I can say this with my chest out. I was always good to George. If you watch back any episode of that show, I always, if a guest was going on too hard on him, whether it was Bobby Lee, whether it was Logan himself, no matter what happened, I always had George's back. If he had an issue with a flight, if he had an issue with a hotel, he called me first, and I always took care of the problem. I was always good to him on the show. And so he had a appearance on Howie Mandel's podcast, a couple weeks ago, and I didn't like the idea of just always being grouped in, of it being like they, because his relationship with Logan from a business and friendship standpoint is very different than mine and his relationship. And
Yours
I
and
still,
George's relationship.
yes,
Yeah.
and I still respect and love George very much. He's an incredible person.
Yeah.
He's incredibly grounded in his religious and family beliefs. He's a loving kid, a lovable kid, and he's a positive spirit.
Yeah.
And I miss him. I do. I really do. I can say that without a shadow of a doubt. And the one thing I will say is that the idea of working alongside friends in this space is very fucking hard and very tough. And it's just a really tough topic. And honestly, like we purposely haven't said a lot about it.
Yeah.
Right. But
because it's lawsuit shit or what?
what's that?
Is it lawsuit shit?
No,
It's just
it's just
the respect or what?
yeah, it's just I think there's just like a lot of feeling and a lot of love and a lot of just kind of upsetness across the board on how things played out.
Yeah.
And the idea that, it's something where any of the parties can simply point the finger and say your fault is just not the case.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It just was a complex situation, and I mean, you just wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. But I mean, listen, like I don't think that there's a tremendous amount of like bad blood or anything like that. I also think that he got quite excited and fired up about his own show.
For sure.
And to be honest, like rightfully so.